Hello and welcome to this emergency call ambulance video. This video is slightly different compared to the other videos that I have uploaded. The other videos are showing various kinds of playthroughs, the findings of the secret and other things. But this video will be slightly different. I will in this one try to show you how the game actually was developed, how the geographic research was done. As I have been fortunate enough to own this game for quite some time, I have had the chance to really pay attention to every tiny detail in the game, and I have, together with my friend Uncle Tom in Stockholm, managed to solve basically every secret in the game except for one. Who made the game, and how was the production made? There are no articles about this game online, and there is not the tiniest credit available in the game anywhere, which really shrouds this game in mystery. But even by looking very carefully at the game, I have been able to make some conclusions about the production, which I will present here. My research about this game actually starts on stage 3, where the driver drives through the Marina Towers. Just for the fun of it, I looked up if these towers did exist for real, and sure enough, they did. They are called Marina City and are placed in the very middle of Chicago. It was really awesome to see that the programmers did pay some attention to reality, so I will show how geographically correct the game actually is. We will return to Marina City Towers on stage 3. Before we start analyzing each stage, we should focus on one thing that all stages have in common: the hospital and its location. The name of the hospital is called Lakeside General Hospital, and according to the cutscene before stage 4, the hospital is located on Randolph Street. This street most certainly exists for real, and another hint of where exactly on Randolph Street the hospital is located is also in the same cutscene, as the building is just next to the water, and for the simple reason that the hospital indeed is called Lakeside. Using Google Earth, we can see Randolph Street located here. And with the information we have from the cutscene, it means that the hospital must be located around here. Another interesting question to raise about the hospital is whether the hospital did exist for real in 1999 or not. Currently there is a clinic called Lakeside in Chicago, and it is actually not too far away from Randolph Street. However, it is located on 211 East Ontario Street, just a few blocks away from Randolph Street. I know what you're thinking now. You're thinking, why not call the clinic and ask if the clinic did exist in 1999? Believe me, I have tried. I have tried calling them several times, but as soon as I'm telling that I'm calling from Sweden, they hang up the phone before I'm even able to state my business. They haven't even replied to any emails that I have sent either, so one thing is definitely for certain, at least, that if this hospital indeed had any relation to the game, there is absolutely no chance that the hospital will share any information about it. But very well, let's get started with the game itself. Right, here we go, stage 1, traffic accident. The information in the cutscene reveals the accident takes place on Tarmac Street and continues to the grassy area along the water. Another detail that we run across on our way is that we pass an underground station on our way called Adams-Wabash. The name is extremely hard to see. You basically have to stand still with the ambulance very close to the entrance to the underground station to see the name, so this is definitely nothing an ordinary player ever would notice. We continue along the water again, and continue straight up and then due east to the hospital. If you look up these locations we passed, we can see that the geographic of Chicago is extremely accurate to the game. We start here at Tarmac Street and continue towards Lake Michigan. The game is not really 100% accurate with the roads here, but it is really close enough in my opinion. Just like in the game, this is indeed a grassy area as we are driving up on South Lake Shore Drive. We can say for certain that we are passing Grant Park on our way up here, as there is a food festival going on in Chicago. This is a festival that does exist in real life. It is called Taste of Chicago and takes place every year in July in Grant Park. So this gives us some trivial piece of information about the game, that the game also takes place in July. As I mentioned a moment ago, we reach Adams-Wabash, the underground station, which is located where the red line stops on the lower image. And this, again, is very accurate to the way we're driving the ambulance. To be honest, though, this part of the game is not very accurate to real life. As you can see in the game, the train station is like an underground station, while it in fact is going over the streets in real life. We continue up this road for a bit, then towards the water again, and continue straight forward to the hospital. But to be fair again, the streets are not very accurate here. The two images that you can see may look similar enough, but the roads are not accurate to real life compared to the game. If you would take this route in real life, you'd basically drive through some parks on your way, so they made this part a tiny bit differently compared to real life. We finally reach Randall Street up here, and we drive straight to the hospital, but let's face it, there is no hospital here in real life at the end of the street. So, to conclude this stage, this is basically the route we took for real on the Chicago map, and this is what the game map of Stage 1 looks like. As you can see, the maps overlap each other almost perfectly, so they definitely made quite a bit of research when they made this stage, as it is very accurate with the locations, streets and surroundings. A few streets have been changed and modified to fit the game better, but we can't really blame the programmers for having a little bit of artistic freedom. Stage 2, Street Battle. This stage also contains a few clues about where the game starts and what roads the game is taking to the hospital. The first detail is quite obvious, the information we get from the cutscene, County Center at Kingsbury Street. Let's be honest here, County Center does not exist in real life, but Kingsbury Street definitely does. It follows the river southeast towards the middle of Chicago. And since we jump over a bridge early in the stage, this leads us to the conclusion that the starting point must be somewhere around where the red ring is placed on the bottom map. After exiting the garage, the game makes a turn to the left, then a sharp turn to the right, which is accurate to the roads in real life. We're passing this bridge on North Orleans Street, and we can actually be 100% certain about it, thanks to some details. Look at the buildings in the background. As you can see, the two large buildings, the one to the right, which is a bit more tower-looking, and the other building to the left with a long flat roof, are identical to existing buildings in real life. Coincidence? No way. They did some photographic research here without any doubt. And although it is a little difficult to see on the photo, the other bridge to the left is visible, both in the game's screenshot and on the photo. This picture gives a better view of the buildings. We definitely are on the right track. After crossing the bridge, the ambulance drives a short distance eastbound and is turning south, where we reach this crossing of North Wells Street and West Lake Street. Once again, as you can see, the similarities are very striking. Do you think this building looks similar to the one in the game? Not hyper similar, but not insanely different either. You decide upon it. The game continues and takes a couple of turns, generally going in southeast direction, and a short distance later you run across a piece of art. And it does exist in real life. Thanks, Uncle Tom, you were really amazing to discover this. Really good detective work there. This statue, as you can see, is indeed located on Randall Street, a name that should be familiar to you by now. This sculpture is called Monument with Standing Beast, and was made by the French artist Jean Dubuffet. Now, an interesting thing would be to ask Monsieur Dubuffet what relation he had to the game, to get more clues about the game. The problem is just, we can't. Because he's dead. He died already in 1985, and no less than 14 years before the game was made. So this is definitely a dead track. No pun intended. This actually causes a problem with the roads in real life. The sculpture is located at the southeast corner of James R. Thompson Center, And if the ambulance indeed was passing that way, the ambulance would actually end up southwest of the center in opposite direction of the hospital location. So this doesn't make any sense at all. But again, we have to give the programmers a little bit of artistic freedom. But overall, as we compare the game map to the geographic map in the bottom left corner, we can see that the roads here are quite accurate as well, except for the long road on Randolph Street. They most definitely did quite a bit of research here as well. But at the same time, it should also be noted that the straight road to the hospital on stage 2 differs to stage 1, which seems like another plot hole to me. And no, the sculpture outside the James Thompson Center would not explain it. Stage 3, Fire. A fire has obviously broken out on Flamingo Hotel on Washington Street. And after a quick search, we easily find out that while Flamingo Hotel doesn't exist for real, Washington Street definitely does, and is located in the Midwest center of Chicago. As the game starts, the ambulance takes a short drive northeast before it reaches Washington Street, and passes a bridge early in the stage. And once again, this bridge definitely does exist in real life also. You may notice that the building to the left of the bridge does have certain similarities to the game. After passing this bridge, the route goes northbound on North Upper Wacker Drive. And as you can see here, there is one similarity and one difference. The train bridge does indeed exist in real life, just like in the game, and the road does bend here exactly the same way as in real life. However, there is no tunnel. The street simply continues along the water in real life, and this is hardly a programmer's mistake. Once again, I believe the programmers wanted some artistic freedom to make the stage to look a little bit more different. After the tunnel, the ambulance turns northbound once again and heads out on North Dearborn Parkway. As you can see, this scene looks almost perfect in line with real life, with the buildings and the bridge. Even the small house thingy in the foreground is accurate. And I have to say again that this very part about the Marina City Towers was the thing that triggered my interest to learn more about the true geography of this game. Glory to the Marina Towers, but let's be honest, there seems to be no special route to drive between the towers in real life. There is a huge building blocking the way here, but there is of course the possibility that this building did not exist in 1999, and that there indeed was a route between the towers in those days. Leaving the Marina Towers, we're heading southbound again on North 6th Street. No particular similarities with any buildings, but the geography is definitely accurate. After crossing the bridge, the ambulance goes eastbound again and follows the water, and we are now on East Upper Wacker Drive. The road bends slightly to the left in real life, and so does the ambulance in the game, so we definitely are on the right track. This is quite amazing. Even this small grassy area at the end of the road does exist both in real life as well as in the game. The only difference here is that there is a metal fence in the game. This too makes sense, because the ambulance would hardly take very much damage by simply taking a shortcut over the grass, although it definitely would be a bumpy ride. This is another view of this grassy area where the gas station is supposed to be. Our exact location is 35 East Wacker Drive, and this is the location of a commercial center in real life. There has never been any gas station at this location, not in 1999, not before and not after. So this too is a little bit of artistic freedom. We are turning southbound from this point down on North Warbach Avenue, and this is the same street as we were driving on stage 1. Difference was only that we were coming from the other direction. As you can see here, the yellow-brown passageway under the ground has similarities to real life. This is another scene which is quite similar to reality. The train bridge, as you can see, does exist the same way in the game as in reality. However, there is no grassy area in the middle of the road. Artistic freedom once again to make the game a little bit harder. Final straightway to hospital, but we are actually not on Randolph Street. The road to the hospital does look different to the straightway to the hospital on stage 1, and also we turned one street too early, as we are now on East Lake Street. But this plot hole could be explained that the hospital is a big one and has more than one emergency entrance. It may look on the photo that there might be something over there in the distance, but sadly such is not the case. The road ends at a place called Aon Center, which has the third tallest skyscraper of Chicago, but this has no relation to any hospital or medical care whatsoever. So, to conclude this stage, we can see that the stage layout is actually very accurate to real life. I did a mistake when I was drawing the red line here. I started drawing the line a bit too low, 1 street below Washington Street, but except that, it looks correct. And as you compare the real-life route map to the game map, well, it is not too difficult to see the similarities. Stage 4 is the easiest stage to summarize, because it actually doesn't make any sense at all. As mentioned several times earlier, the stage begins at the hospital on Randolph Street, and according to the instructions, the rendezvous point is Grant Park, which is just a short distance southwest of Randolph Street and the location of the hospital. Short and straight route, as you can see on the photo, but in the game the route is totally off and ends up somewhere to the northwest of Chicago, which would be way off from Grant Park. You can see the red circle that I used to mark the supposed rendezvous if the game had been graphically correct. And no, there is no park over there, just a lot of roads meeting with each other. So this stage is, in other words, completely designed by the programmers themselves without any relation to real life. There is one detail that could be accurate though. The ambulance does cross 2 bridges with a short distance from each other, one northbound and one second westbound. This could in theory mean that the ambulance indeed crossed both rivers through Chicago, first the horizontal river and then the vertical one. But even so, the rest of the stage does not make any sense at all. So, to conclude the conclusions, we can see that there are striking similarities to real life on the first 3 stages, which means that the programmers did a lot of research over Chicago when the game was created. So if anyone would say that this game is empty and shallow, he should reconsider his opinion, in my opinion. With this, we now know more about the production of the game, but another even greater question is, who made the game itself? Who made the research? Who composed the music? Who provided Sega the medical information? Who made the graphics? There is no information about this in the game itself, no articles anywhere, nothing. It is almost as if Sega is trying to deny that they ever made this game, but that's a truth that I will uncover if possible. And if you have any information about this game, about any of the stuff of the game, or even if any of the stuff is watching this, hey, why not? This is YouTube, so why exclude that possibility? Anyways, if you know anything, or if you were involved with this game in any way, please get in touch with me, either by commenting here or sending me a private message. That's all I have to say about this game for now, so I thank you all for watching and hope that you found it interesting. Have a good day, and remember, don't drive under intoxications.